The first Boogie Woogie recording was made in 1924. It's a piece called Chicago Stump, and it's by a pianist named Jimmy Blythe. Alright, so what you notice about that is that the bass pattern is what's called a walking bass. And that was used a lot in Boogie Woogie. It wasn't used so much in rock music. You do hear it now and then. A more common pattern is the standing bass, which is what I was playing on the guitar. That was used in 1928 recording Pine Top's Boogie Woogie, which is considered by some musicologists to be the first rock and roll record. And so if you just take that standing bass figure and put it on the guitar, then it sounds like rock music. So it's pretty much the same thing, aside from the backbeat, as mentioned earlier. And the earliest rock pianists, like I mentioned before, Fats Domino, Little Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, they were basically boogie woogie pianists, but they played in a rock band setting instead of solo piano. The evolution of rock music, there's a parallel evolution of the sound of the guitar. The early rock and roll music, as I've been playing, uses this clean sound. Very kind of twangy, brassy sound. And that continued on through the 1960s with bands like the Beatles, their earlier records. And that clean sound continued to be used later on by groups like Lynyrd Skynyrd, who played southern rock or sort of a country rock mix. Toward the end of the 1960s, guitar players started overdriving their amps, which caused a certain type of distortion. And that's the sound that became hard rock and heavy metal. For instance, groups like Black Sabbath or Deep Purple. As time went on, more effects were added to the sound of the guitar, making it more versatile. So another one that was added during the late 60s was phaser, which makes the sound kind of swirly. If you add phaser and distortion, and you have a sound that was used by Jimi Hendrix in the late 1960s. This is his Purple Haze. Another effect added during the 1970s is chorus, which makes a nice smooth sound. A sound that's related to chorus, but a little more hard edge, is called flanger. This was used in Barracuda by Heart. It was also used in a lot during the 1980s. Bands like Rush. And then later in the 1990s, bands like Radiohead started experimenting more and more with various sounds to the point that it doesn't even sound like a guitar anymore. And then there are also guitar synthesizers where you don't actually hear the sound of the guitar, it just is used to control a synthesizer voice.